every human creature is a profound secret and mystery to every other.
Hi, I'm Maria. You're watching Fan Carpets. We're at the Odeon in Kensington for the premiere of The Invisible Woman, and we're here to speak with Felicity Jones and Ray Fiennes. You played a real person. So what was the research like when you were looking into this character?
You feel a huge responsibility when you're playing a real person. So I just tried to read as much Dickens as possible and visited Nelly's home where she grew up and tried to understand her. Obviously, Claire Tomalin's book was an amazing resource because she's so detailed about Dickens and Nelly. She makes them feel like real people. And then your instinct as well. You just sort of have to trust your own instinct at the same time.
He's also a figure of great vitality and energy, and I think it's a great journey. I mean, I think as an actor, to play a journey from A to Z or A to X, to chart changes in someone's life, changes in their character and the way they're challenged by events, that's always feels dramatically more exciting. And I felt that, you have Dickens at the beginning, family man, very gregarious, very socially vital, engaged, playful, mischievous, going to the point at the end where he's emotionally vulnerable. He's behaved in a domestically uncomfortable and difficult way. He's left his wife abruptly, arguably quite cruelly. So as an actor, all those things are exciting to play, to make all those changes.
Wearing the dresses, it's so painful. I fell over on my first day because I had about 5 petticoats and a cage, and I just went head first into the sand. It's a little bit embarrassing. I mean, they're very heavy.
Is that going to come out on the blooper DVD?
Well, I don't know. They haven't told me about it yet, but maybe that'll be a surprise.
What was it like to see your book made into film?
Well, absolutely extraordinary, as you can imagine. I mean, events and people who you've had in your mind, see them suddenly actually appearing before you is a very weird experience. And it's so well cast and it's so well done. So, I mean, some writers I know don't like what's done. I really think they couldn't have done it better. It's really marvellous.
It sounds like this before, creating a real-life person into a feature film. What is it about it that fascinates you?
I think there's always something fascinating about a public figure who the public feel they know, and that you sort of see behind closed doors, and you realise that they're just like us. And so for me, I love the kind of fragility and humanity of famous figures who perhaps we've mythologised. And I think, having done Invisible Woman and done Dickens now, they're both very, very different characters, but both were political in their own unique way, and both were very iconic. And so it's always quite a lot to chew, But one of the things I loved about this book was that it was a way to really look at, a vast life in Charles Dickens through the prism of a relationship. So it was great. It was great.
Yeah. Did you have a strong relationship with Dickens before this film?
I'd studied him in school. I'd read a lot of it. I'd actually read more than Rafe had read, actually, but of Dickens. But so yes, but I didn't know that much about him as a man, and actually never knew about the complex life that actually was behind it all.
What do you think about working with Fiennes now as your lover and not your dad? Is that easy?
That sounds so weird. I don't know. It was a very different project, so a different relationship. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was great.
I don't think of him as my dad, or there was no crossover.
How much were you involved in on set or with the screenwriting and things?
Well, I saw drafts. Drafts and discussed them. I mean, of course, there was a lot of changing over the years. Naturally, there always is. And Ray also took a lot of interest in it. So it was a very good team working together. But it's Abby's script, It's a great script.
I loved the process of working with Ray. He's a really inspiring director to work with. He's very open to ideas, very open to the creativity that people bring to him, but he's also very clear about the direction he wants to take things in, and artistically he pushes me to greater heights, I suppose, and so I end up looking back on it, and it has been a few months since we finished the film. I look back on it and I'm very proud of the work that I did, and that's really got to be worth it. That's got to be a good thing.
He's just really honest, you know, he's so focused, and I really felt like I had the time to explore Nelly, the character I was playing, and understand her, and it's just he's not patronising in any way, he's just completely committed to telling the best story he can.
I really want to go back to, I'd love to go back to some of his novels, you know, there are a whole load that I, particularly the later ones I really like to go back to, and I kind of, you know, when I get time, it's a little thing I'm looking forward to doing, is sitting down and spending a summer reading again.
But there's also a lot of pressure when you do it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there is, because obviously, you know, he's much loved, but I hope we've been respectful to that. But I think when you gather, the coalition gathers around a script, and so when you get a cast like Ray Fiennes and Kristen Scott Thomas and the brilliant Felicity Jones, then and Joanna Scanlon playing his wife, then you kind of, you know, it's a huge affirmation for the film, and so I felt like I was surrounded by the best people. So it's been a real privilege.
Well, I had an amazing cast, as you see. Felicity Jones, Kristen, who's an old friend and brilliant, of course, Tom Hollander, and Joanna Scanlon, who plays Catherine Dickens, who just does something incredible in a difficult role. It was amazing.
I read the screenplay. It was given to me by Christine Lane from BBC Films. I read the screenplay, and then immediately after that read the book, because I just thought, you know, I want to know more. So that was it. But it was Abby's screenplay that was the first thing that brought me to it.
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, I've grown up watching Ray for so many years, and seeing him obviously, and Kristen Scott Thomas in The English Patient. I wanted to be them. So it was tremendous.
Is it nice to see the actors play your music on screen?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was quite a funny experience, because the boys in the film who performed that music, so I had to write the music before, you know, to the script, before we filmed anything, but also they picked the boys, the school they wanted to use for the actors was a school that I went to as a child, and so I got to go back to my own school and help choose all the boys to be in the film, and that was really sweet. That was a really nice experience.
About Nelly, so I wanted to portray her truthfully, and so I guess that is a bit draining, because sometimes you don't switch off at the end of the day, because you know, she was a real person who lived, so I felt like I wanted to do her justice.
Truth is stranger than fiction, because I think that's what's, you know, what's amazing about it, is that when you actually get into the core of true things, you realize that it is fascinating how extraordinary lives are, how real stories are.
Yeah, and who better than Dickens, who told so many fantastic tales himself?
Absolutely, yes. And that's part of, I think, what's so interesting about this film. It's getting under the skin of somebody who was such a great storyteller and such a great observer of life and the human condition.
What do you think Dickens would have thought if he'd known that his own life was...
Yeah, I think he was a man who loved public attention, so I think this would have been fantastic. He would have been here now, I think, strolling up the red carpet, signing autographs.
What is it that we are?